Episode 132 of the Wilderness Podcast is brought to you by our Patreon supporters. Support the show at patreon.com/The Wilderness Podcast. Our supporter of the week is Monodam. We're also brought to you by Audible. Get a free month and a free audiobook at audibletrial.com/wild. Welcome to episode 132 of the Wilderness Podcast. I'm your host, Dills, and with me is Deegan.
Hey, how's it going?
This week, we get some more quality of life changes, some tweaks to spells and NPCs and all that fun stuff. Unfortunately, the one piece of news that I was excited for this week is getting delayed by a week. So, we'll get into that. We also got to talk about a new record for Theater of Blood, a new record for Fire Cape. The popular Reddit user GentleTractor breaks down the skill warding. And I saw an article for Runescape about how Runescape is doing financially and for the year of 2018 compared to 2017. And yeah, so before we get into that, Deegan, what did you do this week?
In-game, literally just fished.
Oh, nice. What's your fishing? Wait, why are you fishing again?
Just get 99.
99, okay.
I said a couple episodes ago, it's kind of gatekeeping a lot of stuff. Mainly, I want to min-max my agility experience. So if I can fish, get that to 99, so I don't have to do any more barbarian fishing, then I'm set for all agility stuff. Get that, I can start on my runecrafting. Yeah, I just kind of fished.
Wait, runecrafting to
91.
Oh, okay.
And then crammed elites, double tickets, all that good stuff. Yeah, I've gone over that 8 times. So I don't want to go over it again.
Check the archives if you're interested into the breakdown.
Yeah. So yeah, just a bunch of fishing. Pretty much it.
Cool.
And then I've been just kind of doing that on the side while I play Rainbow Six, Enter the Gungeon.
Right, that's early access.
No,
nice.
Just an indie roguelike game. Pretty fun.
Love me my roguelike games. Roguelike or roguelite?
It's a roguelike.
True. Okay, yeah. I never terminologies confuse me.
And then Mordhau came out this week.
Mordhau?
Mordhau.
Never heard. Early access?
No.
Wow. What is going on?
It's like the successor to Chivalry.
Okay, yeah. I thought what's that game called? Another game came out that I thought was going to be the Chivalry.
For Honor?
Yeah, For Honor. I thought For Honor was going to be the better version of Chivalry, but never turned out that way.
Very, very different games. And For Honor is pay to win.
Oh, wow. That didn't take long.
I don't know. Okay, For Honor was super fun until people found out you could drop $100, buy really, really good gear. And then there was a mechanic they had in the game called Revenge, where if you were the lower health you had and the more you were able to block and parry and stuff, you'd gain this revenge meter. And then you would pop it, knock the person down, you'd do extra damage, you couldn't be staggered. And then so people would spend a lot of money and then wear gear that made so the revenge shit popped all the time. And it really wasn't fun. And then 1v1s, there was a lot of weird ways to abuse the game because it was meant to be you lock on your target. And
yeah.
And in the beginning when everyone played the game without doing weird abusing of certain bugs and game mechanics, it was super fun. But once they found out you could do these weird if you unlocked with certain characters at certain times and attacked, your weapon range would be further. So then people would pick people that are notorious for having ridiculously far range and then abuse it. And so even the 1v1s became really unfun because you had to learn this super weird meta of they're unlocking, they're targeting, they're untargeted for me, they're gonna do some weird shit.
That's always fun. That's exactly what you want in a game.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, Chivalry and Mordhau, yeah, very different from that game. It's super fun. I've been really enjoying it. It's got some bugs that they need to patch out before I recommend people getting it. Silly stuff your game can just crash on startup for some people. True. Or if you open up the armory as soon as you load in, your game will crash. Sometimes you'll like jump into a game and you'll be in this like ghost body where you can run around and you think you're playing, but you're not actually like playing.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, you can't do damage, can't get hit, can't be seen, can't do anything. So once I get those bugs fixed, which I haven't had too much issues with, but I know I have 2 buddies that have been like been bugging them a bit.
Yeah.
But that game is super fun. And I'm enjoying that a lot. And then just like a lot of work related and real life stuff going on. So that's good.
Nice. The IRL grinds.
Yeah. Haven't been on the computer as much. I've been ripping through audibletrial.com /wild.
That one specifically.
Yeah. Harry Potter.
Okay.
It's been like a week now.
Mm-hmm.
On the 3rd book.
Oh, damn. And so it's good?
Yeah. Like it's all new stuff. I mean, I know like some of the major spoilers and stuff, but
yeah, like wow, I almost said Gandalf.
Yeah, no, don't spoil it, but
what's the Dumbledore?
Yeah, don't spoil it.
It's gay.
Hagrid transgender. Hermione's in a wheelchair.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I've been meaning to read through the Harry Potters. It's on my long list of books to read, and I never find time to read, so it keeps growing.
Yeah. It's like I'm enjoying it so much that I have a backlog of like another series I have on Audible. Audibletrial.com, just /wild. But it's called Stormlight Archives. And I've had like 3 buddies that are like really into fantasy books say like these are their favorites, like better than like Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones and stuff.
Game of Thrones?
Yeah. Apparently the world building is like insane and like it's just amazing.
I love those type of books, but they take a bit to actually get into once you get familiar with the actual world and the physics. Yeah. So once you get it, it's great. Like it's fun, but it's always like the first half of the first book is usually like, I'm going to stumble through this while I'm trying to make sense of everything. Yeah. I had the same thing with The Black Prism by Brent Weeks, I think it was. It's really good, but yeah, it's like they talk about magic and stuff, and it's like it's hard to understand what they mean by magic because every book has their own way of doing magic, right? Yep. Like Game of Thrones has a little bit of it, but they do it in a weird way. And then you have like Harry Potter, which is like Wingardium Leviosa, you know what I mean? Like Expelliarmus. Yeah. And stuff like that. And so then in that book, it was like you had to be some sort of different type of human who could manipulate colors. And there's
like an airbender.
Yeah, basically, but you're like color bender. So it'd be like red bender. And then they'd wear these weird glasses. And then if you're a blue bender, you couldn't really do too much harm with your spells, but you could like create things. Anyways, it was good, but like if I stopped reading it like a bit through because I got busy, and if I want to read it again, I got to start from the beginning because I'm so lost. I would be so lost if I just picked it up. Yeah, book readings, fun stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, yeah, not really much to talk about because most of the things going on have just been like real life stuff and work related, and it's kind of weird to like talk about that stuff. Yeah, but in general, yeah, like. There's like I think for the next couple of weeks I won't have much to talk about because like when I'm on my computer I'm fishing and like depending what I'm doing like I'll just like sit there and barbarian fish and just listen to like audiobooks. True. But usually I'm like playing Rainbow Six. Yeah, okay. And then I have that going, so I'm getting less experience.
But do you find barbarian fishing works well with Rainbow Six? Yeah. Yeah.
The rounds are like in that sweet spot where like they won't always you very rarely will you time out, but yeah, I don't know, been ripping it with like some coworkers and stuff, so it's really fun. Nice. Grinding that ranked, we hit gold and stuff, the boys.
Is that good? I don't know.
I was copper last season, so
okay, so that's an improvement.
Bronze.
At least
I was bronze last season.
Nice.
But now I got gold. But like, I spent like 130 hours into that game, and like now I'm like, okay, I'm familiar with these angles. Like with CS, there's people that only play one map in CS. They play just Dust 2 competitive, and that's it. And in like 30 hours, you can like easily just know all the angles. You can pre-fire everything, and like moving around the map, like you hear a footstep, and you're like, he's at this spot on cat or short, depending if you're European or not. Word. And like, you know, like you can be like going down like a site long, like a long, and you can tell like they're at like the stairs.
Okay.
Just because like you play the like people, there's people that literally only play one map, but then in Siege, like the sound is super precise and like it'll like echo down hallways, and you're like, okay, he's in this room area, but then like because there's prone and crouching, but then you can also bust holes in the floor and ceiling and walls, like there's like, and then like you can lean, so there's like angles that people play more often than not, but like there's way more to it, and you can't grind one map and like memorize it unless you, like there's still some maps where it's like I go for a flank, I'm like, I don't know where the other staircase is. I'm just like running around trying to find the actual flanking route.
Is Siege similar to I can't remember what game this is from, but one team's like the terrorist team, sort of like they have hostages, and then one team's like trying to free them? Or is it just
well, they have different game modes. They have like one hostage type thing. They have like secure, and they have bomb. I prefer to only play bomb, but when I'm playing with like coworkers, we'll play bomb and secure the area.
But is that like one team's like the good, one team's the bad, and you have to prevent the bad team?
Well, it's like attacker and defender.
Okay.
You switch sides. I mean, like CS is the same thing, right?
Yeah.
You have terrorists and CTs. Even COD has the same thing with like search and destroy. Like for competitive shooters, it's like typically how it is.
Okay.
Bomb sites and all that good stuff.
Classics.
Yeah. Anyways, what'd you do this week?
Well, I finished my 91 runecrafting grind.
Nice.
Finally, it took a while, but you know, I didn't necessarily hate it. It's just I was just looking for games on the side to play. I guess, right? So that's really whether that would really decide is the decider factor whether I enjoyed it or didn't. It's a lot of Stardew Valley. I was playing RimWorld a bunch, but I'm currently playing Stardew Valley. And then I downloaded Minecraft because I haven't played it since beta. So I remember back in, I think it was 2010 because I was looking it up. That's when it came out in beta. You're the one who told me to check this game out. It was like $5.
Yeah.
So I purchased it. It's pretty fun. But then I didn't play it for a long time. And with VR coming out, notice how I said coming out. Ugh. But they have a Minecraft VR, and I was like, you know, I have the game, and you don't have to purchase anything else to play the VR. You just need to, I guess, download some sort of port thingy. And yeah, but anyways, my old account is so lost in time somewhere. So I've sent in a request, but they're like a month behind in their support tickets, so I had to wait. But you let me borrow yours for a little bit to test it out, but I haven't really played it since.
Yeah.
Something I do want to jam, but I don't know if I want to wait for VR or not. But yeah, last week I was talking about how I was super excited for the end of April and like May 1st because the Oculus is supposed to be like an announcement regarding the new Oculus. They have come out with the Oculus Rift S, which is kind of like an improvement from the last Oculus system, and then they come out with the Oculus Quest, which is like its own standalone console. You don't need to have a computer for it. I guess you charge it, and then when it's good to go, you could bring it out to like an empty parking lot, you know, and have free roam of that.
Get robbed.
Yeah, that too, and you wouldn't even see it coming.
Yeah.
God, this game's immersive.
Unless you're playing like Gorn or something, like a sword fighting game, or like boxing game, you just get really lucky.
Knocked a dude out. You're like, wow, feels like I'm actually in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one was really too sure what was going to be happening when the Facebook conference happens because they're the ones behind Oculus, and people were waiting. There were leaks showing that like, hey, it could be coming out because that's what happened with the Oculus Go last year. The conference started, and as soon as it started, you could go out and buy it. So people thought that was what was going to happen. So I woke up early, called Best Buys. They didn't have it. People had leaked pictures of Best Buy just setting up these Oculus displays the night before, so people were like, oh, it has to be happening. And then leaks that same night started showing that, I think it was from the window or the Microsoft store, showing that it won't be available till the 21st. So then people were like, oh, is it 21st or is it gonna be the 30th? Anyways, the conference came and they were like, you can pre-order it now and it's coming out May 21st. So I was like, crap, I gotta wait because I'm super excited and I can't wait. So I did pre-order it and now I'm waiting for May 21st.
Yeah, you got Long Darked.
What's that?
It was a game that was an early access survival game.
Nice.
Super cool. It was actually like really well done though. It's a really good game playing the sandbox mode. You're out in like the Canadian, like northern winter, super cold, surviving against the elements. Really, really like fun cutthroat survival game.
Right. Sounds familiar, actually.
Yeah. Like you'll like die. You know what I mean? The whole point is to see how long you can live. Like there's no like winning. It's not like Minecraft where like you can like build anything. Like, you're kind of just like living in one area and you have to like rotate around, go scavenge. But they had this really big announcement like a couple of years ago. And everyone's like, they're releasing story mode and the game's fully coming out. And so like people like took off work and like scheduled around for this big like opening. And then they were like, yeah, in a month from now, we're going to have story mode. And everyone was super pissed. And then when story mode came out, it was so shit.
Oh, that sucks.
It was like the guy there's one dude that wrote the story. The dialogue was super corny and cheesy. Like the guy literally was like, I'm going to pretend I'm the main character.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be like super badass. I'm going to be divorced, but like I'm a heartbroken man. And I'm going to take this plane and try and save my ex, or like, you know what I mean? And then I crash. And then I have to go and I find a blind lady in a cabin. I have to get her 40 sticks.
Okay.
Oh, gotta get her 5 lumps of coal. Like that's what the game turned into. And you're like, man, this is so shit. And then I haven't played it since, so I don't know how that is, but
yeah, it's never fun. So yeah, I having to wait till the 21st, so a little disappointed, but counting down the days. Super excited for that. Anyways, back to RuneScape. Got my 91 Runecrafting, which meant after that I was gonna tackle my 84 to 80. No, it's 83 to 85 mining, but almost 84. So I got that done. Pretty nice.
Nice.
Yeah, motherload mining that's nice and AFK too. I didn't mind that. And
nice. Good pun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good catch. Totally intended. But yeah, now I'm my next AFK grind is looking to be fishing. So I'm also trying barbarian fishing. It's not as AFK as I'd hoped for because you get an inventory so quickly.
It's not a big deal though.
No, nothing crazy, but yeah. So I'm doing that right now to see how the agility experience is going to be. I'm not looking forward to that. I think I got to get to 90.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten a whole level so far, going from 91 to 96.
What level's your agility?
87 right now.
So 86 to 87 you got?
Yeah. I mean, I also like been doing raids and stuff.
Right.
So you get a little bit from the tightrope and
true.
Random stuff. But yeah, like, I don't know, I've gotten some decent experience. Saving me a couple hours.
So hopefully it pans out pretty well. Hopefully I can get some good experience from that. Because I don't entirely enjoy doing like AFK things, but not having any money in the end to show for it. Like, yeah, the experience is nice for agility, and that'll like really make things easier in the long run. We had the person who emailed us 2 weeks ago or something, like telling me to try it out, and like how much do I value agility experience. But it's a lot different when I can go like when I'm runecrafting, you're watching that stat go up, or even with monkfish. It's not a lot of money, but still, it's kind of nice to watch it go to like 2K. You know what I mean?
Well, time is money.
Yeah, it was just
faster, better fishing experience, but then also agility experience.
Yeah, it's like almost like an invisible like thing you're carrying, right? With like when you're AFKing like monkfish, you can actually watch the monkfish, whereas like agility experience, you got to like keep reminding yourself it's for the agility. It's for the agility.
Well, I just think like I can like click, play around a siege, and know I got like 2K experience fishing.
Yeah, fair enough.
And so it's not bad. And then, like, yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, that's my next grind there. We'll see how long it's. I got to get to 96. I'm at 82, maybe 83. It's pretty much it for like my RuneScape stuff. And yeah, as I said, I'm waiting for that VR, so that should be exciting. And then just dabbling on phone games. It's funny when we were talking about the BAFTA awards and how Brawl Stars had been a nominee. I was playing that for a bit, and the game was actually it's fun. I was enjoying it, but the problem is you hit a wall where it's like, wow, I'm really pressured to buy stuff, like pay real money for it, and that's not something I want to do. So then I just found myself playing it less and less. But I picked up another game called Badland Brawl, another freemium game that's like kind of like pay to win, but it's kind of fun. It's pretty cool. It's like it's sort of like, imagine Angry Birds, but it's a PvP game, so you're facing someone else.
Yeah.
And it's fun because the physics in it are like, it's like not as cookie cutter, right? You can't keep doing the same thing. Like, you could do something that screws you over because it backfires. Just the way the physics are, like, you'll hit something and it bounces off, but bounces towards your castle.
Yeah.
And you're like, crap. So I've been enjoying that game a lot too. But as I said, you hit these points in all these freemium games where, like, you either grind a lot without making any progress just to kind of keep up with people who are spending money, or you spend the money. And that's usually when I fall off and stop playing it. The Clash of Clans I was into for a bit, and then you get to that point where you're like, man, I got to play this like once an hour in order to progress, or I need to spend money.
Yeah.
So it can get rough, but yeah, that's it's got to be my week. I don't think I'm missing anything. Rewatching Game of Thrones. Hell yeah.
Nice.
I'm on season 1. Convinced the girlfriend to start watching it too. So that'll be fun. Hopefully we can catch up for that season finale. I guess that's all that's interesting to talk about. We'll let's just get into the news. I'm trying to think to see if there's anything else, but I don't think so.
Yeah, so we're starting off this week with some more quality of life changes.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. They have like an automated plank make now.
Cool.
So each automatic cast will occur 2 ticks slower than the manual cast. Yeah.
It's fair.
Purdue will now take payments directly from your bank if you try to buy your items back and have no coins in your inventory.
That's nice. It's good for those PKers who end up dying a lot, aka me.
Yep. When like logging out or leaving the alchemy room in the mage training arena, if you leave with coins in your inventory, those coins will automatically be deposited into the coin collector, and you'll be awarded the usual amount of points, magic experience, and coins.
It's fair. Do that same treatment to teeth farming.
Yeah.
Prevent those disconnects.
If you have runes in a rune pouch or bolt racks in your ammo slot, any runes or bolt racks looted from Barrow's chest will automatically be added there.
Cool.
The Gianni Jr.
Sounds good to me. Good enough.
Now is the right-click option to acquire easy or hard gnome cooking tasks.
All right.
Players may no longer trade pure essence in the Iranian cave.
Ooh.
This means boosted experience or runecrafting experience are no longer accessible. Yeah, you can't do it through having others fetch essence for you.
Yeah, because people were getting up to 180k experience an hour doing this. Expensive though. You're spending a lot of money, but still. Yeah, I was reading that it was a lot of the people in the EHP community who were against that. They were the ones that were bugging JMods on Twitter and whatnot about changing it because they felt like it was an unfair advantage, I guess, to maybe some of the players who had a lot of money. Or I imagine there's some people in the EHP community who like have a lot of money somehow or get it from their parents, and they were probably just buying, like, I can imagine there's someone who's buying tons of bonds or getting money through other means, real world trading, and then using that to getting their paying runners, because that's the thing. The people in the EHP community, they're very rarely doing methods to give themselves money, right? It's like every method they do, they're either not making money or they're going to lose money.
Hunter, maybe? Black Chins?
Yeah, Hunter.
Isn't that the fastest at a certain point? I don't know, though.
I think so. So, Hunter's like, that's one of them. But like, you know what I mean? Everything like farming, you're going to lose money doing magic trees.
Yeah.
Mining, you're doing what? Granite?
Yeah, you're dropping it.
And you're dropping it. Same with like fishing and stuff. So,
yeah. Yeah, so the main reason why they did this nerf was because, well, the intended rates at 99 were 46.8K. And people were getting, you know, 180K. Up to 180K. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit higher than that was expected. I do know that the new way of doing it is having runners at the astral runes, paying them the same way. And it's like, you can get up to like 125K. Colonello, a YouTuber for RuneScape, he made a video about it. He was kind of against the change for ZMI. He thinks it's a stepping stone to other changes to the game that would prevent these like higher experience rates. You know what I mean? But I think that's, I don't know how true that is.
I think, well, like, the only reason why I agree to like the ZMI changes is that because what will happen is that anything Jagex will like pull and like talk about, like in terms of like new skilling methods, which are already hard to get into the game, it's like, well, these are the rates, and then people, well, what if I have 4 olds? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it just like people were okay with it because of these raids. Like if they pulled ZMI saying you can get up to 180k,
yeah,
no, it would not have passed.
no, definitely not. And that's the thing. Like last episode, I remember myself being kind of leaning more towards against the change. But as I think about it now, it's your average player is never going to pay for runners because it's so expensive. And the people that it hurts the most is like other people in the EHP community for the most part, right? That's why they're complaining about it, because they don't want to have to resort to methods that are like kind of cheesing it, right?
Yeah.
I can kind of see it, and ZMI already offers so much to Runecrafting that we don't need it to also be the best experience per hour with runners.
Yeah.
Like having it, you know, a good alternative to the Abyss or your traditional Runecraft running. It's not running with other people, but I mean like just the traditional way of training Runecrafting. ZMI already offers like the more AFK way of doing it, even though it's not AFK, but it's more so than Abyss and regular Runecrafting.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with them having to do this change now that I have a week to think about it. And also, you can still do it through other ways. Like, yeah, Astrals, you can still get 125k experience an hour.
Even like if you have people running like and you're at the lavas doing lava runs, like I think that stuff's fine because that's always been a thing. If that is just super popular and like everyone, that's just the community being fucked. It's not like, I think it's just mainly because ZMI was like
it already has benefits,
air quotes, recently put in terms of like old school, in terms of like other Runecrafting related updates. It's definitely the newest.
Yeah, I do think like going forward, it's not good to be like thinking, well, this is just the way things are. I'm not saying they should take out running Runecrafting through other ways, because I think that's a really cool way of training it. It's a throwback to the old days where you would trade 28 rune essence for 28 law runes or something. Like you weren't making any money really, but back then it wasn't bad. Yeah, they have to figure out how to balance things. So yeah, ZMI already offers like way better methods for, at least for me, I prefer it way over other things because it's just a lot more relaxed.
I mean, they have worlds dedicated to law rune running.
Do people do it though? I don't think so.
No, but like there's a big community about it that did it back then.
I used to do it.
Yeah.
When I needed a quick buck, because you could sell law runes for 1k each if you were patient, right?
Yep. Yeah. Anyways, you want to move on?
Yeah, we can move on.
So theater blood fixes and improvements. The pestilent bloat within the theater blood should now fall down in the correct position. Sometimes he'd fall and be in a weird spot, and your character would be like hitting a disjointed hitbox. It was kind of weird. And then he'd also get up and like hit you around certain walls, and it was weird, but they fixed that. One of the Nalicus was incorrectly changing into a smaller Nalicus as it walked towards the center of the room.
Okay.
Verzik should now correctly move at the correct times during attack animations to prevent her from appearing in the wrong location. And in her third phase, she sometimes appeared to target a player who had died, causing odd pathing, and it should be resolved.
Cool.
Zarpus's exhumed phase was needlessly long and not very challenging, so now it's shortened and it scales better for a smaller team size, and the absorption is now more powerful to keep it balanced.
Is the exhumed phase when he's like at the beginning where he's spitting out the acid?
Where like there's like vents that open up and you have to stand on them?
Right, that's what I meant. Yeah.
So thankfully they shortened that, because that shit was annoying as hell. It was like half the fight.
Yeah.
So yeah, in other news, Jagex has been making progress on numerous changes to the existing content that has been requested and visiting the older content pool. They also have a blog out in the coming days about PvP updates, which have yet to come, but we'll talk about that next episode.
Yeah, because they had a focus group, right? They brought in some I know they brought in some PvPers and stuff, but that might be the same one that your regular person could sign up for.
Yeah.
Which is good. You should have a little bit of everything, because last thing you want is to. I know not every PvPer would do this, but you would if you take a group of them, there's going to be at least one of them that would want changes that's going to specifically benefit that one person. Right? It's not better for the game, but it's better for me.
Yep.
So it's good to have a good balance of different people.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go into some of these topics for next week, because there won't be an update next week. Actually,
What? Oh,
yeah,
true.
Due to some like holiday that the UK celebrate or whatever.
Recent bank holiday. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Banks get a holiday.
I don't really know, but yeah. So no update next week, but we'll have some things to talk about. And then the Thursday, the 16th, that's when the next update will be. And it'll probably be like the Seed Vault changes or fixes or improvements. So the Summer Deadman season has ended, and yeah, invitations have been set out for the new seasonal or the invitationals.
The final one for now until the hiatus.
And that is it.
We were supposed to get an in-game clock this update, and we did for a small period, but it had been removed because there was a bug where it was prefixing a 0 in front of a time that was less than 10 minutes past the hour. That's how they write it. So they're going to be waiting to the 16th of May to have the clock put in, which was something I was kind of excited, not excited for, but in this whole blog, that's like the one thing I would have cared about, right?
Yep.
So 2 weeks from now, we will be getting it. It looks like that's pretty much it for game news, right?
Yep.
All right, so let's move on to some community chatter. There was a post on the subreddit from Zomimi posting a new Theater of Blood world record. They beat it 14 minutes and 59 seconds.
Yep. The overall time from enter to like finish is 22 minutes. So in between rooms, but in actual combat, just under 15 minutes.
Is that what people care about when speedrunning?
Honestly, I would probably, me personally, I would value overall time over challenge time.
Right. There's probably people who value one over the other. You know what I mean? Like, you'll have
my
both.
main thing is that challenge time, a lot of it comes down to RNG, and like there is strats, but like if you have like optimized like strats, it's all RNG. Overall requires a lot of communication and just knowledge of who needs what, when, what potions, what's the setup, how we spending these points.
Mm-hmm.
That would be like the more important thing for me.
Makes sense, yeah.
But I guess they valued challenge time.
Which is still 22 minutes. That's still pretty good. And 15 minutes in fighting.
If I ever smash like a Xerix raid in 22 minutes, I don't know if I have in like a threes. I think my closest might be like 22:30 or maybe 23:30. I actually don't know what my fastest threes is, but I've had some pretty fast ones, but I don't think I've ever had a raid faster than 22 minutes.
What's interesting though, looking at the screenshot here, it shows the 14 minutes and 59 seconds being the personal best in combat. And then it goes to the Theater of Blood total time, which is, as you mentioned, 22 minutes and 2 seconds. But this player's personal best for that was 17 minutes and 23 seconds. You know, so it almost seems like at one, like whatever attempt that was, they were in combat longer, but they just sprinted to the next rooms.
Yeah.
With no downtime in between.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Wow.
I bet you, I guess this group specifically values challenge time. And they're like, okay, our challenge time, let's actually make sure we get this done properly.
Yeah.
Go. And they probably went over their strats again to make sure that D-Rod doesn't fucking die twice.
Dead once?
Yeah, he died once.
Wait, say that again?
I was just making a joke because in the screenshot, one of their guys died once.
Oh.
But,
still. Being able to get a personal best with one death?
Yeah, he probably just died at the very end.
Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, congratulations to D-Rod, Zomimi, Ghoul, or Goo4, I should say, Custom Jr., and AJ. That makes more sense.
A yay?
Yeah. So pretty neat. Remember on release, it took what, like 3 days.
Yep.
But yeah, I guess next for the world records, you mentioned, what was it? Fire Cape?
Yep. That Randy dude.
Yep.
Lower the better. I think I talked about last episode.
Yeah, this YouTube series he seems to be doing. I haven't yet checked it out, but
I won't go too into it. I mean, everyone knows by now, but he got a fire cape at level 18.
wow, how?
10 hours of prepping the account, 100 hours in a fight cave.
100 hours? Is that just him like, wait.
Because
okay.
you can log out in between ways. And like the dude's so fucking knowledgeable with the game. He's got a video on his YouTube channel. It's 40 minutes. Worth the watch though.
He breaks everything down?
Yeah. And he has fuck ups. And
in it.
Well, like, because you only get one attempt.
Well,
with the account.
That's true, because then he's probably going to level up. Or does he? How does he damage?
I don't want to spoil it because like he talks about it.
Yeah.
But so before, ChemQ had the record.
What was his?
19.
Oh, 19. Wow,
But
that's so good.
He did like a defense pure with a serpentine helm.
Oh, 10 HP.
And a dragon fire shield and all that stuff.
Oh.
And Rendy does a different strategy. He's got one defense. And it's like way more. I mean, it's one level, but it's way more impressive because he's not just using venom mechanics. And
right.
he breaks down like the math on like the percentage he needs to hit these guys and do all this stuff. And like it's 40 minutes. It's super well done. He fucks up like one or two of the characters. I guess I am kind of spoiling.
So he has a couple characters trying it. Oh, okay.
He
all doing the same method.
He makes multiple characters for when he dies. He can just jump in with another.
That's interesting. So
because like imagine like you get like 80 hours into the fire cape,
and
then you die, and then you have to make a new character, 10 hours of grinding to get the stats, and then you have to then do it all. Like so, he just kind of did it all at once.
So you got to tell me, how does he damage?
Poison,
but like with range.
No.
Oh,
well,
shit.
yeah, he uses a little bit of crossbow, but mainly a dagger. He breaks it all down, and a lot of it is that I've talked about it in the past, but you can hit a 0. So ideally, you want to be hitting zeros.
Yeah, for no experience, right?
Yeah, because you when you see a 0 hit, that's like a miss, or you can like literally like roll. Hey, your character successfully attacked the target. But the damage roll will be 0 to like 73 meme.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can like technically hit a 0. That's why sometimes if you SGS spec and like a gargoyle or whatever, and you'll hit a 0 and actually still get the effect as if you hit a 20. I believe it's a 20. If you hit under, that's how much you'll heal. That's what it scales up to.
That makes sense.
But also, like Karasks and stuff, you'll always hit a 0. But yeah, so like it's really interesting because he's super knowledgeable and he like breaks everything down. And there's a guy who's trying to get lowest Inferno cape.
Right, yeah. It was his name is like Zach something, right?
Yeah,
he's been on Twitch. I saw you watching it. I watched his second attempt on the account where we talked about it, where he made it to Zuck, who is the final boss in the Inferno. Midway through the fight, these healers spawn, and that's where he died. There's 4 of them, and you want to kill them. He killed like 2 of them and panicked and died.
Mm-hmm.
So
the attempt I saw, he panicked and Jad killed him at Zuck.
Oh man,
and it was like, or maybe Zuck killed him because he made a mistake. I don't know. It was really dumb, and I was kind of cheesed. So I watched it for a couple hours. And I was like,
it's
sucks for him, but I also watched this for a long time.
Yeah. Watching these like people do these attempts, like it's like boring in the sense that it's so long, and it's like they do slow things, but they're just gonna hide behind a wall and let something regenerate. But since we play RuneScape, it's like super exciting to see someone being able to actually do this shit.
I mean,
it's like unreal. And you watch like all the content creators are jumping in, watching it, cheering them on. Like it's cool.
yeah. Like with that exact guy, he had a couple waves where like he was in Inferno, he was just sitting there prey flicking like crazy. And you're like, dude, this guy's like kind of insane to just like be one tick flicking like all these different things. Like,
and you
non-stop.
make one mistake, that could be it.
Yep.
You know, and like we know how hard the Inferno is on a maxed account with like all the best gear. It's still super hard.
Yeah. See, I want Exact to get the new lowest Inferno cape because I think Rendy might have it right now.
Okay.
And then Rendy will have to beat it, like kind of how with Chem Q, because he's like, it's kind of like his thing.
That's what's so exciting. And everyone's always like, no one's ever being like, I hope this guy fails because I want him to keep it. Everyone's like, no, you try to beat it now because we want you to keep getting it lower. Yeah. Now I'm waiting for that level 18 Inferno run.
The one thing I like is that we talked about it before. We're like, there's not like a real speed running. There's a camo top meme.
Yeah,
and he's like 5 minutes. That's like 5 minutes and 5 seconds. You know, or 40 seconds.
Yeah,
cool. But like instead of like speed running, it's like the lowest, whatever. Like how low of a combat or like what weird stat can you know what I mean? Like I find it'd be way more interesting to see an Ultimate Iron Man have a fire cape at level like 20 or 25 than like him get it in like 3 hours.
Yeah, like speed runs is I agree with you there where it's like, I mean, it is cool. They did that fire cape speed run competition, which is kind of cool and fun to watch.
But the person that won, Slayer Task Tebow.
Let's hope for good RNG. Yeah. Whereas like the lower combat, you're watching these guys and I like with the Inferno, it's tough, but I'm confident that eventually I could get good enough to do it on my main. Whereas you watch someone doing it on level 58, I go like, no, that's just not me. I'm not going to be ever that good at the game where I'm busting out like a level 18 to do the fire cape, you know? It's too, so it's awesome to watch other people do it.
And they take some like cool approach. Like Rendy, he's from North America, but he only did the fire cape attempts on the UK worlds.
Is there a reason?
Because if he lagged, he like the server, so he's at 200 ping. That's a lot.
Yeah.
But if he lagged, the like click wouldn't register. So like because a lot of it's him flinching, which is where you like hide, you jump out and you poke and you hit like a monster and then you go back behind cover and you wait for their health bar to drop and they like quote unquote go out of combat and then you go back in and you can do it over and over again. But like if he was laggy enough or if his internet or like Jagex server lagged, the game, he's already so laggy that he won't just step out and go AFK. It like nothing will happen. You know what I mean?
That's interesting. And it's like tactics like that, you know, like it takes so much more than just being good at the game to know that stuff. That's super neat. I got another series to binge.
Yeah.
So that's I guess that's it for world records, isn't it?
I guess so.
Anyways, we'll move on to the Reddit user GentleTractor. We've mentioned him numerous times before. He has in the past, many times in the past, come out with a cool idea or a change to the game. One that comes to mind is the Zaya map when it was still like a square. He came up with a whole design to make it look like an actual piece of land. And with his design, it was really well done, and it made the JMods go, all right, you know what? I guess we can do better. If someone who's like doing this on their free time, like maybe we should be doing this because we're getting paid, you know what I mean, to actually do this sort of stuff. Anyways, he broke down the warding skill and he went really in depth with it, why it's like flawed in its current format and what they need to do and the community and what the community needs to decide on in order to actually, not just the community, but like Jagex needs to see that the community actually wants a new skill. So we'll quickly go through his post. It's long, but we'll make it as brief as possible. So the first thing he talks about is a new skill versus other types of content. and how it's different. It's different than adding a new boss to the game, because this is something that's going to change a lot. Like it has to matter first off, right? A new skill can't just be like, it's going to be I don't know, flax spinning. That's the new skill, and you just kind of spin flax. And so the first thing he kind of proposed was, it's good for Jagex to figure out whether or not the community wants a new skill. Not warding, just any skill in general. So he would say, so GentleTractor came out and said, we've tried Artisan and we've tried Sailing, who that both failed due to some of the problems, and warding may have the same issue. So the first thing that should be done is a poll should be set out with just one question. Do you want a brand new skill added to old school RuneScape at some point in the future, assuming an appropriate skill idea is presented? Then you would vote. And then they can see, like, does this community even want a new skill? Because if it doesn't pass that poll, then that's it. Move on, right? No new skills coming to the game. Right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
But the problem is you can't just aim for having 75% wanting a new skill, because once you have that new skill, that 75% would vote on the new skill. They're all going to have different ideas of what they want out of a new skill. So if you just have 75% of it, making it just passing, then it's not going to pass with whatever skill idea comes out. Because then you're hoping every single person who voted yes will vote yes again, which will 99% is not, like 99% chance that the people who voted yes, some will be voting no, which will cause it to be lower than 75%. So aiming for a margin of 85% or higher would make it more likely, so that when the drop off happens, it might still be above 75%. So next he goes into the skill identity. And I'll just read what he wrote here, because he did a good job at writing it out. So he says, the identity of a skill is crucial to its success. It's what separates it from the rest of the pack and gives it a reason to exist at all. A skill without a strong identity is forever condemned to a lifetime of second guessing and questioning as to whether a new thing is appropriate to be added into this skill, or would it have been better served in one of the old ones. A good skill with a strong identity will never have that problem, because there will be no ambiguity as to where something belongs. So you brought up crafting as being an example when comparing warding, and you said, like, we already have robes in crafting. You could put more robes in crafting, right? That's kind of like that's already like questioning warding, sort of. It doesn't have a strong identity since some of it's already in crafting. Like, you don't want parts of, or the what was it, the battle mage potions, the throwable potions, I believe it was, right?
Yeah, you got to put that in herblore.
Yeah, it could easily fit in herblore. So, anyways, he goes on to say, this is where warding immediately begins to falter. If you have an idea for some piece of hypothetical new content, you should be able to hold that idea up alongside all 23 skills in the game and say, okay, where does this belong? Where does this new idea belong? You should then be able to make your way down the entirety of that list until you reach the bottom and come to this conclusion. Actually, this new idea just doesn't fit or make sense in any of the existing 23 categories, at least not without nastily shoehorning it in. No, the only way this idea can exist at all is if it gives its own unique category. And there we have our 24th skill. So the problem with warding is a lot of their ideas doesn't really separate itself from other skills. So for instance, crafting, like you mentioned, it says right here, crafting lets you create some magical weapons such as battle staffs and magical robes such as Xertians. And then we go to runecrafting. Runecrafting lets you create magical equipment such as runestones and armor, the 3 Cerberus boots, right? You need, I think it's like 75 runecrafting or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third skill is magic. Magic lets you imbue jewelry such as rings, objects such as orbs, and equipment such as crossbow bolts for drastically increased potency via enchantment spells on the standard spell book. So as you see right there, like warding is kind of like the 3 of them put together, right?
Yeah.
Crafting, runecrafting, and magic. So that's kind of one of the big issues. The next topic he goes into is medieval versus fantasy and skills as professions. So one of the cool things about RuneScape is that of 20 of the 23 skills in the game, they are based on some kind of real component. Like a lot of the skills are like real things, like they're crafts or they're trades, like some sort of profession, right? And yeah, he says here they are steeped in historical or medieval content. When you look at wood cutting, you know exactly what it is, right? You cut wood. And a lot of people did that. A lot of people do that today, and a lot of people did that in the past as a profession. That was their job, is to cut down trees, get the lumber, sell the lumber. So he mentioned that 20 of the 23 skills, they're basically like real things, like in the real world today. And they were in a historical setting. They were real jobs, like blacksmithing, and you had mining. A lot of it you can still do today. But there's 3 skills that are basically fictional skills, like fantasy skills.
Well, 2 depending on who you're asking.
Yeah, okay. So he says here, magic and prayer, they're broad and kind of a generic terminology.
We're losing our religious following as we speak.
Yeah, okay.
No, but yeah, there's like 3 mystical.
Yeah, basically
skills.
Mystical, like magic. You're like, okay, it's magic. And then prayer, like what does that really mean? And then there's runecrafting, which is really, runecrafting is like the fantasy skill, because magic, it doesn't exist. But
I mean, Ouija boards,
people thought it did witchcraft, right? And then prayer, yeah, it has to do with religion and stuff. So, but runecrafting is the real fantasy skill. But even still, it is it's not completely made up by Jagex, because rune and runic letters are something that has existed for a really long time. He says I guess he looked into it, but it dates back thousands of years as a form of written Germanic language, including various Scandinavian and Anglo-Saxon variants. But like, yeah, if you look up what runic letters, it's not really most of us are aware of it, right? Looking into some of the games coming out for VR, there's an MMORPG called Orbis, and if you're a mage, you have to draw out runic letters in order to cast spells. So it's something that has existed, and even same with rune stones, where these big runes that had like runic letters carved into them, right? They use them as I have no idea what they use them for, but probably a multitude of different things, right?
Yeah.
But with runecrafting, it's kind of self-explanatory. You craft runes, and once you know what runes are, you kind of get what that skill's all about. You're crafting magical runes you can use for spells later on. Now, for warding, it doesn't really do that. It's like, I have no idea with what the hell is warding.
Yeah, you have no connection to or even the most vague reference point.
Yeah,
to warding. Like,
it could be anything.
Like the whole my girlfriend tries to guess what these skills are. Fisting, haha. But in all seriousness, though, you kind of know, hit points, okay, fishing. Prayer, sometimes people are like, well, what is that? And then you're like, magic. Okay, you're probably going to cast spells. Like farming, it's all pretty straightforward. Like runecrafting, it's like, I guess you kind of have to know your history, but like just about every single skill, you can kind of get an idea just from the name of it.
Yeah, and I'd say the one that would make you think the most, which isn't even that much, would be Slayer. Well, Slayer, what does that mean? Just kill shit anyways. Well, no, you kill specific things. Okay, makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward. Warding, though, I don't know what the fuck warding would be.
My mind just goes to prison warden.
Yeah, prison warden. I think of League of Legends dropping wards to see, or even taking it from a historical setting, like in Game of Thrones. That's the hot thing right now. Wards are you would take a child from another city that you were at war with, and you'd kind of not hold them hostage. You would, but it's basically as a way to be like, hey, you're not going to fuck with us anymore because we have your son.
Yeah,
he's a ward now. So that's basically what he goes into here, how it's you don't really know what it could be. You'd have to actually do some research, or you'd have to look into the wiki to see what it is. So is warding a poor name choice for the skill? I honestly, I would go with, I was confused when they brought out warding. I love the idea of it, but warding seemed like a weird thing. Why not go with tailoring and just keep it straight robe making, right?
Yeah.
Tailoring is a good one.
It still falls into another way to just word crafting.
Yeah.
The issue,
but you would actually have a tailorer, and you know what I mean. You could, if the tailoring skill, you're gonna be that's just straight for clothing.
Yeah, I mean, as an example, I understand it, but to implement it, it wouldn't work. But yeah, the idea or the concept, it would fit way better than warding.
Yeah, even sailing, right? The skill that failed before, it wasn't executed the best way. But still, you knew exactly what it would be about.
Yeah.
Yes, you sail. You'll learn how to build a ship and sail it, basically.
Yep.
Pretty straightforward. And then next is he talks about the in-game loop, which is the grind for the most part.
Yep. Like, how do you actually level this up and grind it, right?
Yeah. You want it fun because like we have a lot of AFK skills which do the trick for certain things, but nobody wants a new skill to come out to be AFK, right? Like the only reason you'd want to have it AFK is because the skill's boring to train. So having it AFK allows you to do other things.
The people who want a new skill, and you have to like put it in the phrasing of like the people that actually want a new skill in the game, like why and what. Like I kind of like a lot of the stuff I kind of talked about.
Yeah,
I'm gonna sound really big headed for a moment, but like
I was right.
No, it's just that, like, I mean, yeah, obviously I'm always right. I'm a Time Lord, but like a lot of these things that he's brought up, it's like things that like it's kind of common. You know what I mean? Like if you were to like introduce like how is it going to be like introduced into the game? So let's say you actually want a skill. What kind of skill do you want in the game? And like why? Like because people are like, yeah, like fuck, I'm down for a new skill, but I want to be AFK and I want to make fucking good experience and I want to make bank consistently. Like, how about this? Let me click on a spot for 30 minutes and it just gives me noted rune pieces of armor. Then I put into an incinerator and an auto elks for a bunch of magic experience.
Yeah.
But no one else can do it but me.
Yeah.
Like people kind of want everything. That's the issue, like with the gameplay loop.
Yeah.
Where like I think that's like where the community will split, besides like the first one is, do you want a new skill? And then what kind of skill?
But it like breaks down, like a lot of people kind of want it to be fun. Like nobody would want like woodcutting 2.0, right? Because it's just you want to kind of enjoy your time doing it.
Obviously, yeah.
And the only reason you want the AFK method is because the skill's boring.
Yeah.
That's why runecrafting has like the blood runes now, which is great because everyone hates to train runecrafting because it's slow and it's not very much fun and it's very repetitive, as most things are. But blood rune makes it a bit like a lot more slower, but you can do other things on the side, so you can still have fun while you're doing it. You're just not having fun in RuneScape necessarily,
yeah,
unless you're talking with people. But yeah, and he explains that in his opinion, a good skill offers something unique that is simple to grasp, is easy to access, but it also has additional layers and significant depth and a variety for those who wish to explore it. So it's easy to get into, but there's so much more to it once you start enjoying the skill, I guess. And it's kind of important for RuneScape because RuneScape's different than a lot of MMOs. You set your own goals, you play your own way at your own pace. Like everyone does it differently.
And you just click.
Yeah, it's click. So it has to be, they have to try even harder to make it more fun and engaging because we just kind of click things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as you see, just between me and Deegan, we both play very differently. When he's runecrafting, you're probably going to be doing lava runes.
If I'm in the mood to play RuneScape, like I enjoy doing like lava runes. Like I won't like if I'm like, oh, I want to just like chill, do some lava runes, or like, oh, I want to just chill like 3-tick barb fishing. Because I want to actually interact with the game, and I enjoy like the interactions of that, because like I want to listen to like audiobook.
Yeah,
I won't keep plugging me, but like actually I want to sit down and listen to some music, or like listen to a book, or have like a Netflix show go on the side and like click stuff. But like Slayer isn't click intensive enough because like half the time you're cannoning shit, right?
Yeah.
But I enjoyed lava runes or bar because you could actually sit there and like set like you can get into that rhythm, that like flow state for like where you're just kind of like you're zoned out, like you get like that Zen mode, and you can just click and you can play and just like relax, let your mind wander, or like listen and whatever, and actually interact with it. But then, you know, also you can AFK them too if you want.
And like, so you're okay. You'll more willing to do lava runes, whereas me, I won't be doing lava runes. To 99, I'll more than likely be doing blood runes or soul runes. But because I find it more AFK, and that's just kind of like how I do it, right?
Yep.
So that's the thing that makes RuneScape kind of special. Like you set your own goals, you play at your own pace, do however you want. Some people don't even ever train runecrafting, and you don't have to.
I have a buddy who's like almost, well, he's max combat minus prayer. He's got 35 like fletching. You know what I mean? Like he's like, I don't need to. I don't like scaling wide, and I give him shit all the time about like how low his total level is.
Yeah,
like, in a joking way, but he's like I post max Slayer and I like will go to Rev Case for fun. Yeah, like he likes to just grind PVM content and go PKing the odd time. Just that's what he enjoys. He's never found skilling, even if it's AFK. He's kind of like, it's like I want to like play the game. I don't want to have to like find something to do while I'm on RuneScape. Like I want to sit down and kill shit. I want to watch my bank value go up and buy new gear and venture around, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's important to note with it. And a lot of people were saying like the skill needs to feel old school or traditional, but he kind of breaks down why that's not really. I think people get miscited with that, I think is the word, because if you look at PVM, we have like Chambers of Xeric and Theater of Blood now, which is like kind of not traditional or not very old school RuneScape-y, right?
It's the furthest thing from old school.
But people are totally okay with it.
Yeah.
You know?
It was done in like a good way.
Yeah, so it's he says here it's been revolutionized with these two things, having to solve puzzles, and the fights are actually super super intense. And so the argument that it needs to feel old schooly isn't like that true. It just needs to be done well. Done well and has to fit with the game.
Yeah.
And so this is where he says he feels like this is where warding feels like it's kind of like the opposite. Anyways, he says here, a good piece of new content aims to build upon a core foundation of what makes old school RuneScape fun and what players of today actually want to play, which is you look at the raids, right? Perfect example. It creates content that is influenced by modern design standards and practices, catering to the current audience and player base, but executes in a way that would have been fitting and well received had it been released back in 2007. That, to GentleTractor, is the true definition of what makes something old school. And this is where he says, unfortunately, warding does not feel this way. It feels like it's the opposite. Warding feels like it's taken a look at old 2001 and 2007 era content, grabbed onto a few different pieces of it, and moved around a few minor elements and then dragged them forward into today's game. It's a way for them to like come off as, hey, it's old school because look at, right? Whereas it's nothing new and exciting. It's
not creative. No offense. I mean, there are some good ideas, but it's not creative at all. The fact you could like look at warding and know where all their ideas came from is very bad. Like if you want to be good and have it to like kind of stand on its own, you can't be like, yo, check out this new TV. True story. Hey, Deegan, check out this new TV show. It's Futurama meets Rick and Morty. And then you watch it and it's the fucking worst show you've ever seen. And it's for goddamn little kids and it's dumb.
What show?
Final Space. I doubt you listen to this podcast, but if you do, I mean, I already told you how shit that recommendation was. The shittiest fucking don't watch it. I'm sorry if you like it, but that is... Whoever told me it was Futurama meets Rick and Morty.
I thought Rick and Morty was already like pulling a lot from Futurama.
No.
No? Okay.
No, Rick and Morty's pulling a lot from like Justin Roiland's other stuff.
I'm not an intellectual, so I don't watch that show.
Yeah, my IQ
I'm a simpleton.
Off the charts. I got my quantum mechanics for dummies.
Shit.
But it was too boring.
Yeah.
Because it's for dummies and I'm not a dummy.
That's fair. Anyways, he says warding kind of grasps elements of other skills that people are extremely critical of, and things that nobody seems to really enjoy. They're trying to do it again to make it feel old school, which is going to end up bringing a skill that is a shallow reproduction of things that we can already do in game. The only difference is you just slap a new coat of paint on it, right? Whereas everything else nothing about it is satisfying and doesn't feel like refreshing. Yeah, and then other things he mentioned here are things we talked about, like the rebalancing of items and stuff. Doesn't need to come with warding. You can just do that anyways. And then he brings up the magical armors and being able to to make those in the warding skill, but it's already in crafting, even though crafting is kind of a crowded skill, but you could easily throw these equipments into runecrafting. And I think people would be like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Not getting into like experience rates and stuff, but
as a concept, yeah.
And then he says here, people might be arguing about the runecrafting skill, but you could easily just reword the skill to like runology, which is all things to do with like magic crafting.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what we're doing.
Yeah, warding. If they called it runology, you know what I mean? That's a better name than warding.
Yeah, but then you would have to combine runecrafting into it.
Yeah, but like, yeah, exactly.
He mentions briefly here how the Nightmare Zone and the imbues, but he also says a good idea would be to move Nightmare Zone to Lunar Isle, which would make more sense.
Yeah,
it does.
Literally, yeah.
So it's
even like, yeah,
do that anyways. And then this would cause people to have to beat lunar diplomacy in order to get to it, right?
Rip Obby Maulers.
Yeah, so I guess that's a bit of a problem there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. He goes more in depth there, so you can easily go on the Reddit, the subreddit, and find his post. And he breaks down a lot of things. We just kind of summed up a lot of it and skipped over some of the things that we've talked about before. But basically, the closing thoughts he had were the positive sentiments of warding seem to be, I like it because it feels familiar, it kind of makes sense, and it seems logical and it fits. And then 2, I want to see a new skill. I think we need a new skill, and I'd love to play a new skill. But these arguments, might show that people want it, but they're not really strong enough to bring. They're not a strong enough reason to bring warding in as a skill.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since this will be the new skill brought into the game, it needs to be done well. It can't just be like, well, people wanted it, so here it is, and then you kind of bringing it in for the wrong reasons, because then we just have like you want it to feel new.
Yeah,
you want it to feel like how raiding feels with PVM, which is tough. So
yeah, okay. So quickly before I lose this idea, because I'm going to write it down on my phone.
Nice.
So we don't have any update for next week. So this could be a huge bust, but do you want to try? We each try to come up with a new skill they could implement.
Yeah. Okay. I'm down. I already have one. I think it's a good idea, and I got shit on before, but I think it's a good idea.
All right. Swimming?
Yeah. Not even kidding, but I'll explain it next week, where I was at work one day and I was really bored, and I must have thought about it all day. And
I mean, we've talked about it before in the past.
But yeah, that sounds like a fun idea. Flesh out my some of my ideas, and
yeah, I'm gonna say don't do swimming because you've already talked about it before.
I can really break it down.
But we've talked about it like 3 or 4 times at least. And then, so the main thing is that with the GentleTractor thing, like the main thing he brought up was like, because he does like a lot of good points, and I agree with him with like most of the things he said, and mainly because I made a lot of those points too. So big head. No, but in all seriousness though, like there are some like the idea of like if you can think of an idea that doesn't really fit into any skill.
Mm-hmm.
And then build off of that. Like if you take some like the concepts that he talks about and like come up with like a new thing that's like, if you want to do swimming, you can. But like I'm thinking like brand new, like surprise everyone. Because I have one that I just quickly typed in my phone just to like remember. But
I'm gonna surprise everyone by how good of an idea swimming is.
I mean, if you want to, I'll just win.
Oh, it's a competition now.
I'll just win. I mean, we can have people vote on it if you want. But like no, just for something like.
And then everyone votes like neither because they're both shit ideas.
Yeah, they're probably gonna be awful. But like, no, I don't know, just come up with like a new skill, like a new standalone skill that like would potentially like fill in some sort of interesting concept of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, if you truly believe that swimming would be perfect with it, but
I'm gonna brainstorm some other ideas and see if I can come up with a better idea.
Yeah,
it's gonna be hard though. It's gonna be tough.
Oh, I already got like a killer one.
Oh shit.
I think
it's and then you're gonna come with swimming, and I'm gonna be like, you dick.
Yeah, that's gonna be the whole thing. I'm like, okay, so it's called hiking, right? It's called Slayer 2.
Shit.
We don't have any shooting skill. We have range, but we don't have any like shooting skills, right? So we're gonna go in. It's gonna be an FPS game. You know how interactive it's gonna be?
The flying skill.
It's going to be like addicting games, shoot George Bush, you know, those stupid games. Shoot George
Slap
Bush, terrorist shoot. Yeah, but one of those games.
Shit. Yeah, I was just thinking, like, as much as I don't like summoning,
Like trying.
it did a good job as a skill, I guess, as a new skill. But I wasn't a huge fan of it.
In your opinion, I guess, but I disagree. I think it kind of fucked the game. But
it did, but I think that like it was the change that they were willing to do. I don't know. It's
something, they felt like they needed to do.
Yeah.
So like the only thing I'm gonna say, you can do swimming if you want. But the only thing I'm gonna say is you can't choose like any like divination, invention. You can't just choose an RS3 skill.
Yeah.
Like try and come up with like a whole brand new concept that like.
Oh. Okay.
Just keep it to yourself though, and then we'll like work on it in secret for this week. Like I'm not gonna tell you anything about mine. Watch it be the same fucking thing. Do you remember when we both got each other the first book of Game of Thrones on Christmas?
Oh yeah, that's funny. Yeah,
it's gonna be this 2.0.
Yeah, for Christmas we both gave gifts, and I opened mine up, and I was like, started laughing. I was like, shit.
And I knew. I felt like, for fuck's sake, I opened it up. I'm like, we just got each other the same goddamn gift.
Yeah, but I remember at first you're like, do you already have this or something? And I was like, no, just open your gift. And you're like, true.
Yeah,
it's good stuff. Good book though. Yeah, so
have that as like a little challenge, little build up, so next week isn't boring. And then if both ideas like, okay, these are shit, but just hear us out. And then they're like, okay, these guys lose all credibility. And then we just have backup topics and we can just talk about that.
Sounds good.
Because like I'm going to be fishing all week. I don't know what you're doing for this week in game.
I don't know.
So there's something that we could like.
Fishing.
Yeah.
Are you going to be fleshing out tiers? Like at level 10, you'll unlock this. Like how much are you going to be building into your skill?
I was thinking base core concepts, how it interacts with the game. Like I'm thinking of like the like more of the idea, the how. I'm not like if you feel like to get your, because I just find that's how I would explain the skill, like the concepts. Like I if you feel like you can get your point across better through like at level 10, Babadook, sick movie, but when you hit level 10 Babadook, you get a silver Babadook, and that lets you ride the gorillas on Apatol.
Okay,
you know what I mean? If you feel like that gets your point across, like makes your skill like, or like helps give it an idea. I won't be focusing on that, just because like I don't.
It's too much. It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
and that could also make your skill flawed, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say like this is why your skill's bad, but like, I'm just curious. Like, I wonder what we can come up with if we have a week, and then just see, because like I always shit on Jagex for like them being very uncreative, or with their like sailing. Artisan was skilling Slayer. And then warding, I've shit on that like a bunch, even though they're cool ideas. But like they come up with 3 skills, I shit on them, and it's like, you know what? Like maybe I'll be an ideas guy. Maybe I'll come up with some like actually thinking through. Like we come up with ideas and stuff like on the show, but it's always like, oh, what if they did this? And I almost said that. I was like, wait a minute, you should wait for next episode.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like it. Cool. Sounds good. Now, are we going to be picking apart each other's ideas?
Do you want to?
How about this? You can say it in your fully, and then if I can be like, this is why I don't think it would be added into the game. This is why I don't think it would be past the polls or something like that, right?
So the way I'm going to come at it is these are for people that want to do, like they want a new skill.
Yep.
Because like I've mentioned before, I personally just don't want a new skill in the game in general. But if they have a skill that like I feel is good for the game, then I will vote yes on it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Even if it's like, because at the end of the day, you don't need 99 Runecrafting.
No. Most people aren't going to max. That's totally fine.
It's like, if you want to get your quest cape, you need what, 50 Runecrafting for Grim Tales or Dream Mentor, one or the other. Like, you don't need anything past that. Like, and that's like, getting 50 Runecrafting is fucking easy. Like 70k an hour at like 2023.
Yeah.
It's lava runes, but it's not that long. The skill, like, I guess like agility and mining with like those are like kind of becoming higher and higher, which I disagree with, because like those are the slowest. Those are like Song of the Elves. And like agility is kind of like a questing skill. Like it's kind of like a skill that you need through a lot of quests, and it's like one of the most common quest rewards, that and thieving. It makes sense that that's like kind of tied towards more people that like want to do quests, but not many people like it, and it's low rates, and I think that's bad because then it promotes like we need better rates for agility when like you shouldn't need to do it to enjoy the game.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like what you think would make a good skill. If you want to critique and be like, what about this and this? I don't know. I don't really care. I just want to be able to like talk about the skill in full. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. And this week, too, you guys can let us know, what do you guys want to hear out of that discussion? Do you want us to shit on each other's ideas, or do you want it, let us know.
Yeah.
How you want that discussion to go.
Email us or something, or like
right in Discord on the Wilderness Podcast channel.
Yeah, just add us I don't know, do whatever. Just put in your thoughts, and then depending on like what the collective agreement is, what you guys want us to do with like each thing, then we'll just talk about it before, so everyone decided we should do blah 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 blah, and then we'll jump into it.
Yeah, cool, fair stuff. Sounds fun. How exciting.
If you're gonna email, please don't do it last minute, because it'd be kind of hard to do like it last minute to like, I mean, actually no, it wouldn't. We can just like look at everything before.
Yeah. So
moving on, I guess.
Yeah, then moving on to this article I saw. It's gonna be real brief, but it's just quickly talking about the state of RuneScape money-wise, because Jagex revealed that they achieved record-breaking financial performance in 2018, with a revenue growing by 9.3% to £92.8 million. Some big bucks.
Mm-hmm.
And then profits before that also grew to £46.8 million, and it's showing like an annual increase of 3.8%. This year, they have achieved their highest membership count due to Oldschool RuneScape's launch on iOS and Android, and it was had over 5 million installs.
Yeah,
it's quite a bit. This is like RuneScape in a whole, so I'm sure the transactions are included as well, but I do think that the most of this money is definitely coming from Oldschool RuneScape and how well it's thriving. They are the new money horse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's good to see, and it further shows that you don't need microtransactions, right? Watching Oldschool RuneScape doing way better without microtransactions.
Yeah.
So if done well, like microtransactions are not needed to make money, and if anything would hurt the game, hurts mini games.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it for the kind of the community content, community chatter, I should say.
Quickly, just going back on the whole skill idea thing.
Yep.
So there's a guy in the clan named Raw Arrow. I believe he gave you bonds and stuff for giveaways.
Yep, he donated a bond for a giveaway.
He gave me one a while ago for that raids thing.
Right, yes.
Thinking, get in our goddamn Discord. Okay, go. You don't have to download it. You use it in the browser, and then just put what you want from us, or what you'd like us to do, like in terms of like, do you want us to like critique the skill, or in general, not like ideas, but like how do you want us to like structure it, and post it in the Wilderness Podcast, and then I'll put you on a raffle, and then you can win a bond, because I still have his bond, and it's just been like sitting on
Sorry about that.
It's okay. And it's just been sitting in my bank forever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this kind of be perfect. It incentivizes you to join the Discord. We have a lot of people in there already, but also more incentive to like get involved. We're like, hey, guys, this is a really stupid idea. That's consensus. I mean, we'll probably ignore it because I want to talk about my idea.
Pretty committed.
But yeah, just like give us your thoughts on this as a whole, and then like what you want from us, and then raffle, get a bond.
Cool.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, that's exciting. Free money. Money's always nice.
Or membership.
Membership's always nice too.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff. Yeah, I look forward to that. But with that being said, we will jump over to the segment where we get to teleport back in time and discuss each week we're in 2001 right now, so discussing each week going back to 2001, each week as new updates came out. We're kind of going through that. Sorry, I butchered that because I got puzzled for a minute. Anyways, we're going to be teleporting back to May 3rd, 2001. I had the wrong year pulled up again, and I was excited because a new skill. I was like, how fitting. A new skill got dropped in, but that's 2002. So, shit, you're going to have to wait a whole year before you even get to that. Spoiler alert, it was thieving. So we'll get into that, but that's 2002. So 2001, there's a proposed new system that you can now vote on. So it says, it seems to me that the current player combat system is not ideal. The fact that the vast majority of players have opted to be non-player killers seems to confirm this. Therefore, I'm considering changing to a new system which more people should enjoy. With the new system, different areas of the map would be allocated as a combat or non-combat zone. In the current map area, which includes all major cities and mining sites, there will be no fighting allowed. This caters to players who want to fight each other. To cater for players who want to fight each other, I would instead add a huge new area around the edge of the map called the Wilderness, where player combat is always allowed. The further out into the wilderness you go, the more dangerous the game becomes, and the less restrictive the combat rules become. So right at the very edge, anyone can fight anyone. There will always be more treasure available to tempt people into venturing out despite the danger. If you don't want to fight, you don't have to ever enter the wilderness at all. Wow, what a weird time where you did not have to enter the wilderness if you didn't want to fight people.
Yeah.
Now you
This is when Easy Escape like really happened.
Now everyone has to be forced into the wilderness at some point. As well as the change above, I would also set a new duel option to allow players to fight each other in the main non-combat zones. Duels would work a bit like trading in that both players have to agree before the duel begins. Before the duel starts, the players get to agree on the stakes and like what the winner gets. And if things like and the rules, such as things like magic and food, could be used during the fight, or if retreating is allowed or not. This would allow you to try to fight other players in a much more controlled way and should hopefully be a lot more fun for players who don't want to get randomly involved with killing players. This would be a major change to the game. I know the newbie killers won't like it at all, but I'm trying to cater to the majority and not the individuals. Few individuals. Yeah, this was a vote they put out. People got to vote on. Spoiler alert, I think it passed. But we'll find out as we get there each week. But that was all that happened 18 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Well, we say all, but the game, that is the biggest change.
That's huge, right?
Yeah.
We bring in the wilderness, and the wilderness is so iconic.
Yep. Almost as big as them removing the wilderness.
Ooh.
Wow.
Shit. Wow, what a lot of what a contentious area that place is.
Yep.
Brought in, removed, changed, tweaked. Everyone's always pissed.
Dishes dug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on to the lore of the week. As Zarek and his group of followers ventured deeper into the chambers of Zarek, they came across a room much bigger than the other rooms they have encountered. But this room was different. A beast lived within this room, within the trenches that surrounded it. Along the journey, he lost many men through some of the battles against the other monsters. But the battle they were about to encounter, they would lose a lot more. A giant beast emerged from the deep trenches of this room. A massive dragon-looking monster, bigger than anything they have seen before. His men fought fiercely and were able to take down this monster, but not without losing many of their companions. Using magic from the crystals that were throughout the entire cave, Zarek placed a seal that acted as a force field, preventing people from entering this room. Here, they set up camp. They began using the crystals and rocks in the room to craft new weapons, stronger than anything they had before. And this is where they crafted the most powerful bow that any man had seen, the Twisted Bow. He sealed the room, placed a chest where they kept all the equipment that they had created in this room. They knew the monster they had defeated would not be gone for good. It was too strong to be permanently put down, and they knew they were on borrowed time. Vasanisterio, the high priest, documented this encounter in his journal, and it says, "Now we make our camp in the Guardian's chamber, among the skulls of its former prey. Although I doubt it has been permanently killed, the Guardian will not trouble anyone again for a long time. The weapons and the armor that we have developed in the caves can stay here, in this place of safety. As our Lord now wields power over the crystals of the cave, he intends to create a secure seal around our store. He says it would take an earthquake to shatter it. I am truly awestruck by the power that our Lord now wields. If we were to return to Korend, as he originally planned, I have no doubt that we would regain our former dominion over the kingdom with very little effort. However, while our Lord remains as secretive as ever, in fact, he has become more so after the treachery of our former followers. I sense he has a new plan in mind. Perhaps The throne of Kourend has become too small a trophy to satisfy the ambitions of Lord Zarek. And this is the last we hear of the former king, Lord Zarek. We don't know if this monster appeared again and wiped out his party as well as the Lord himself, or if they escaped and had plans for a bigger throne. For now, adventurers enter these caves, hoping to plunder some of the equipment that was crafted by the party, taking on the Great Olm, the monster that slew many of Lord Zarek's companions. And while the rest of Kourend waits to see if Zarek will emerge again, or if he had died in his conquering, or maybe he has his eyes set on the land of Gielinor itself. And for now, that is the end of the Chambers of Zarek. Next week, we will move on to the final raid, the Theater of Blood. All right, now that we're back, we'll take a trip over to that Grand Exchange, where we get to talk about a few things that are going on with the show. The first things first, as Deegans mentioned twice already, you can go to audibletrial.com/wild to get your hands on some top-notch audio books, such as Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And if you use that code, not the code, but if you use that link, I guess it's a code too, but you'll get a free month and a free audio book. So it's pretty nice if you want to test it out to see if you like. If you don't like it, you can cancel it and you still keep that one book. So yeah, well, you're not really losing much. That's audibletrial.com/wild. Take Deegan's suggestion of Harry Potter if you have not yet watched or listened or read.
If you have, Stormlight Archives, or you can check out the Black Prism. That was the narrator's pretty good for that one too.
You can also support the show directly by going to patreon.com/thewildernesspodcast. Our supporter of the week is Monodam. So thank you very much for supporting the show. We greatly appreciate it. It allows us to do all these fun things that we get to do, and also relieves the burden of some of the payments as well. When we first started this, I was going back to school and I had to quit my full-time job, which kind of had me worried on whether or not finances would be a problem. So thank you very much for helping us with that. We do appreciate it. We're truly grateful to all the people helping us there. But thank you to every single person who does support us, the people who even just plop in to say some kind words. It is all greatly appreciated, and you can't thank you guys enough. But yeah, we'll move on to the kind of like the podcast stuff. So we had our Jeopardy event happen on the weekend. I had 2 events planned. We had the one on Friday, which was really good. I had a lot of fun. There were a few hiccups, but that was just me getting the hang of streaming and holding the event at the same time. So got a little tricky. Unfortunately, I had some stupid real life things pop up on the Saturday that I was unable to do the event. I just got home way too late. I got scheduled to work till 8 and hosting a private party for this child's play place that I work. And with a private party, you can never really be too sure whether or not you don't really know the condition that they're going to leave the place, which had me there until like 9:30, and the event was at 10, and then the alarm wouldn't. I accidentally set the alarm off, and then I couldn't shut it off, and then I had to wait for like the security team to show up, and then I ended up not getting home till like super late, and it was way too late to the event, and all this nonsense, as well as like some other real life things. But yeah, I'm going to be holding that event. I don't know about this weekend. I'm going to see that. I'll get in touch with the people who had signed up though, because we already have the slots available. But if you do want to check it out, keep your eyes on Twitter and our Discord to watch the stream itself. Yeah, we're definitely going to be re-holding that one though, because it was fun. I would like to get that other one done. I have 5 people signed up for it, so it's only fair. That's pretty much it for what we got going on. You have anything?
Twitch, where do you rest?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
nice and early too. But
yeah, I have nothing really to talk about.
And we got an email from Renal. Sorry if I'm not saying your name correctly, but he basically says some kind words about the show, how he's enjoying it, and kind of listened to the backlog, and also pointed out that I have the Patreon link somewhere on the RSS feed, the podcast feed. It doesn't bring you to the actual Patreon thing, so I have to go back and fix it. So if anyone's tried to click it, it might not have worked, to see what's going on there. Yeah, I have this weird, with the hosting site we use, they give us a default website, and it's not pretty to look at, and it's not very not the best to like use, really. I mean, it's very basic, so it does the trick, but maybe one day we can look into getting an actual website made. Who knows? Anyways, if you want to come hang out with us in game, you can do that at WildCC. If you want to jump on our Facebook group, it's facebook.com/thewildernesspodcast. That will actually bring you to the page, but there's a group linked in there, so you can come in and chit chat there if you want. Our Twitter is @thewildernessrs, and our email is thewildernesspodcast@gmail.com. Our Discord is also linked on Twitter and Facebook. So if you want to get in there, maybe win that bond, click that link and jump in and come hang out. Deegan, you said your things already, didn't you?
Yeah, Twitch, Twitter, Deegan RS.
Twice in a row.
Yeah.
Nice. My Twitch is the Dills. This week, I'm probably going to be doing more of that RuneScape radio stuff. I've been doing them in the mornings. It's kind of easy, and my week's been going to be pretty busy. I have a spoiler. I got a little job interview lined up this week, so hopefully that goes well. But yeah, just look on if you do care to watch that RuneScape radio thing. I guess you can follow me on Twitch. That would probably pop up, or you can check it on Discord. Whatever, doesn't matter. Anyways, our music of the week is going to be Wayward. It's Wayward, but it has the word ward in it, so let's use it. It's unlocked in the dungeon beneath Jagex, that little like Joger area. It's the music unlocked in the Zoger dungeon during the quest Zoger Flesh Eaters. It came out May 17th, 2005, and it was composed by Ian Taylor. All right, now let's wrap this puppy up. I'm slurring my words a bit. So thanks everyone for listening. We do appreciate it. Check out next week for 133, and we get to discuss the new skills coming in.
Yeah.
2 of them.
Yeah.
How exciting.
All right, guys, have a good one.
Take care, everybody. Thanks for listening.